Hello, well the birds are singing again, as you can hear. It's in the garden again. Welcome along, Chris Reardon with today's United Kingdom talk. Lots to chat about today. First of all, you can now set, those of you that have got Facebook, those of you that have now got Facebook on the internet, I don't know if you know, but you can now set your own Facebook name. Okay, now probably if you've already got Facebook, you would have had an email about this a couple of weeks ago now, indeed, which I did, and it gave you it's funny actually, it gave you a time to which point you could set your own Facebook name. Now, what is Facebook? If you're not sure what it is, it's like this place on the... Oh, here comes the cat. Good morning, Katie. Come here then, darling. Come on. Up you come, darling. There we are. Katie's in the house. Katie is in the house. Get a cuddle. Are you going to say hello? You going to say hello? Speak for me, darling. Say something. Oh, she's being quiet today. She does usually have to have a conversation with me, the cat, in the morning. Anyway, yeah, the Facebook thing, it's just like a big club. And it's set up into lots of little clubs and you join the bits that you want. Well, up until a couple of weeks ago, you couldn't have your own... how do I put this? Your own, not original, individual. You couldn't have your own individual Facebook name. So, for example, me being Chris Reardon, I wouldn't be the only Chris Reardon that you could find on Facebook. However, that's changed now, and you can now set your own Facebook name. Now, Facebook has been around for a couple of years now, as you know, but the names, your personal name, you couldn't set. So you couldn't say, oh, find me on Facebook, just look up Chris Reardon. Because anyone that typed in Chris Reardon would then be listed with, believe it or not, there is more than one Chris Reardon. I know, it's horrifying, isn't it? It is absolutely horrifying. But you couldn't say that, and they'd get a list of all these different Chris Reardons, and they'd literally have to go through them all. Do you know, I've just looked down at my leg, and I've got little veins appearing. What are they? Don't tell me they're varicose veins, are they? There's tiny little, like very small squiggly lines that look like veins on my leg. Are they varicose veins? At my young age, I can't believe it, dear. Oh, dear. Yeah, we've got the legs out this morning. I am in a pair of shorts in the garden. Well, it is summer, come on. For God's sake, we're not actually as stuffy as some people think here in the UK. It's not true. Anyway, so a certain date was set at which you could choose your own Facebook name, and I tried to remember to go on there as soon as possible to reserve Chris Reardon, and guess what? I was too late. Most disappointing, most disappointing. So, but I have managed to get a good Chris Reardon UK. All right, so that is now my Facebook name, Chris Reardon UK. And whoever is the other Chris Reardon, end of story. I'm most disappointed that you got it first, but there we are. I don't suppose you watch this show anyway. Chris Reardon UK is my Facebook name. If you haven't registered your Facebook name, I suggest you do so now, although yours might be gone. You know, I was lucky to get Chris Reardon UK. That could have gone as well. Then what would I have been called? I mean, I have been called a few names in the past. Perhaps you have too. So register your own Facebook name. And if you want to find me on Facebook, mine is Chris Reardon UK. All right. Talking of addresses and emails and things, there is an email address if you'd like to join in. The email is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Can you hear the birds singing? It's very noisy out here today. Listen. Now, is that a cuckoo? Listen. I don't know if that's a pigeon or a cuckoo. I keep hearing it. They say cuckoos are dying out in the UK, don't they? Don't know why that is. Okay, what else have we got to talk about? Oh, I've been to the cinema again. I'm becoming a bit of a film buff, am I not? I'm becoming a film buff, boys and girls. I've been to the cinema again, but no, not just any ordinary cinema. Oh, no. My friend Ron took me. You know, the stuck-up one, who likes everything in place in his house. He took me to the Odeon Greenwich IMAX cinema premiere seats. Premiere seats, dear? Oh, yes. Oh, you haven't lived until you've been in an Odeon IMAX cinema premiere seat. Let me tell you that. Well, liken it to go in business class on the aeroplanes. Oh, it's marvellous. We did enjoy that. I mean, I did. I did enjoy that. Now, this is not cheap. Let me tell you that. To get, but wait till I finish before you gasp in horror. Right? The actual price of the ticket was £21 each. But for that, you get free Coke. You get free, what are those crisp thing called? Nanchos. Free Nanchos with delicious cheese sauce. No good at all for the weight, boys and girls. You get free sweeties. There's a little bowl of sweeties. Well, you fill your pockets up with those, don't you, dear? Before you go into the cinema. Absolutely. We like to get our money's worth. So you get free sweets. You get free popcorn. And you get a massive seat to sit in. And not only do you get a massive seat, these seats are like, they're all leather. Oh, it's so comfortable. All leather seats, right? And you, they have an armrest in between the. For a start, they're big. I didn't feel there was much more leg room, though, you know, in front of you. I didn't feel there was much more leg room, but presumably there was. Perhaps I just didn't notice it. But the armrest, the kind of seats come in pairs, and there's an armrest in between. The armrest comes up, so if, as on this occasion that we went, there's no one sitting next to you, you can lift the armrest and put your feet up, which is lovely. I mean, take your shoes off first. Be a bit sensible about these things, you know. It's only decent to take your shoes off first. Did I say your feet off? It's only decent to take your shoes off first. But I lifted this armrest when I was sitting there, and I had my feet up, and I was kind of... It was almost like sitting on your settee at home. Really comfortable. Really comfortable. The nachos were lovely, the sweets were lovely, the popcorn was lovely. And the Coke, well, you know, you can go, just keep going back and filling it up if you want. I mean, if you don't mind missing part of the film. And what an experience. Now, £21, on the outset, that sounds very expensive. However, oh, and there's a private lift that takes you up to the gallery. Oh, yes. Not anyone. You couldn't go in that lift, you know. Oh, no. Only people with the premiere tickets. Premiere tickets, IMAX Cinema, Odeon, Greenwich. You must go. You absolutely must go. The only thing is, where the cinema is situated, it's in Greenwich, what is it called? Greenwich something village. Anyway, they've done the whole area up. This is right where the dome is, you know, the O2 Greenwich dome. It's right next to it. You can see the O2 dome from the cinema. And incidentally, I want to do a new closing film soon, and I think we might take a... Because remember the last London one we did? I might take a few pictures of Greenwich Dome and perhaps the Thames Barrier and things like that you didn't... And East London is all that way as well. We might do a little film of... A little bit like... I don't know if you watched The Apprentice. You know the opening and closing film there where it shows all those blocks? Well, that's all East London. That's Canary Wharf. And I could go round there with a camera this time and do a bit of a film round there. But where the cinema is right on top there, so if a concert has just finished, you've got an awful lot of traffic coming out of that way, and I mean, the only thing to do is to sit in it, and you go under this awful Dartford tunnel, which I hate. I hate tunnels like that. So there we are, a real experience. And as I say, when you think about it, £21 does sound expensive, and indeed I thought it was expensive. But when you work out, if you were probably sitting in one of the normal seats, the ticket would have cost you £10 or £11, right? If you buy a Coke and a hot dog, or a Coke and a popcorn, or something like that, that would cost you another £6. Well, that's 17 already, isn't it? 16 or £17. 18, 19, 20. So it's only £4 extra for that big seat, for the very big seat. And I'll tell you what, it's worth it. And you're surprised I've said that, aren't you? Me being a bit penny pinching. It is worth it. So, anyone else who's never done that before, sat in a premiere seats in a cinema, try it once and see how you get on. If you go to the cinema and you don't buy anything else other than the price of the ticket, then it's double the price. But if you go to the cinema and you tend to buy a hot dog and a Coke or something like that, then it's only about another £4. So, and I think the extra £4 is worth it. All right? It's worth it. Now, the film we went to see was Transformers. Transformers, robots in disguise. Now, believe it or not, Transformers, of course, has been going for years. I think it started off as a children's cartoon series. And they made one film, and then they've made this film. Now, I have never seen Transformers. I think I've seen the ads for the cartoons on the telly years ago, but I've never actually seen a whole Transformers programme. So this was completely new to me. I was absolutely blown away by the special effects on there. Really, really good. Yeah, you remember when years ago they made science fiction films, and quite often the thing or whatever it was doesn't look real, does it? I mean, I know we've got a lot of Doctor Who fans and Star Trek fans watching and listening to the show, but when you go back in time and you think of the monsters on Doctor Who or Star Trek and things like that, they really didn't look realistic, do they? Well, I mean, these do. What they can do now with these special effects is just amazing, and these robots looked real. So clever. And the robots, the transformers, because they transform into different things, you see. And one of the things was this big yellow car which transformed into this great big tall robot. It's so clever. So clever. Now, and basically the humans, us, and well, perhaps not me. I mean, it has been said before, I'm not much of a human, more of an animal. Perhaps not. The humans and the good robots have joined forces, and they are trying to stop bad robots coming from outer space from taking over the Earth. That's the basic story, okay? And it's really good, really good. So highly recommend. That's all I'm going to say on that film. All right, so highly recommend that film, Transformers. If you want to go and see that one, please feel free to do so and report back to me. The email address for the show is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. The email, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right. My brother-in-law, Martin, he does all of his work on the internet. He's got this internet marketing school thing. And I was on my Facebook thing the other day, and I noticed at the top, Martin said, please use this address now, as I've been hacked. And it would seem that someone has hacked into his business and is trying to steal his customers. And I said to him, well, is it an easy password that you've got there? Because unfortunately most people, when they've got passwords and that, tend to use things that are quite obvious, like children's names or pets' names and stuff like that. For example, I mean, it's not, but my password, as you know, I've got a cat called Katie. I could have had the password Katie, or Katie and Chris, or, you know, something like that. A lot of people use passwords like that because they're easy to remember. Unfortunately, they're also easy to guess. And someone who's trying to take over your account could quite easily, you know, try that and then steal whatever information they're trying to get from you. So do be careful of that. But after talking to Martin, it would seem that his password is actually not easy to guess. It's not a name of his wife or his children or his house or phone number or anything like that. It's a very unusual. It's almost like a string of letters and numbers that don't make any sense at all. I don't know, B733126, you know, something like that. And I'm wondering, how does a hacker obtain that information? Perhaps we have a hacker watching or listening to the show today. How do you do that? First of all, you've got to get the username, haven't you? The username of the person. But then, which again, can be easy, depending on the username. You know, I don't know. Mark Smith, you know, the username could be Mark Smith. So then, presumably, all you've got to do is find the password. How do you do that? How does one find the password for someone's accounts? If you please share that information with us, because I've got no idea how one would do that. Please let us know. I've got the email, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. One, just going back to the cinema thing then, when Ron invited me to go and see Transformers, because I took him to see the other film the other week, you see. So, is it nice? He'd like to pay me back. How kind is that? I've been paid back. Didn't need to do that, but he did it just out of the goodness of his heart. But the day before, he had the audacity to say, please don't come dressed as a pikey. I said, I beg your pardon? He said, don't come as a pikey. I said, what do you mean? He said, those dreadful tracksuit bottoms that you wear. Well, I'm shocked and horrified. I don't think I dress... Well, what does... I don't even know what a pikey dress is. What does that expression mean? Thank you very much. I don't even know what that means, dear. I think I dress quite smartly, don't I? I've got a nice shirt on today. Very colourful for the summer. Off eBay, of course. Only £6.99. It's got dark blue, light blue, yellow, red and white. Don't dress like a pikey? I don't know what he means by that. Anyway, not very nice, is it? Right, that's a few bits and pieces today. We're going to do some emails nice and early. First of all, it's our friend Suko from New York. Good evening, Suko. All right? She says, mystery solved. The mystery of the eerie sounds we've been hearing in our apartment has now been solved thanks to Robert and Jasper Smarty Pants, his elf. I mean, the elf stories just go on and on, don't they? It's been haunting us for years, causing frequent migraines, tremors, and insomnia. Oh, I know what you mean by the tremors. I often get tremors in bed. It just starts shaking erratically. What's going on there? I think it's the cat trying to wake me up, to be honest. He's always moaning around my legs, that cat. Our poor dog Dylan suffered from recurrent ear infections and seizures. Did it go like... Oh, your poor dog. I hope it wasn't having a stroke or something, dear. Was it? Our poor dog Dylan suffered from recurrent ear infections and seizures, which I always attributed to these high-frequency noises. High-frequency noise impression for you there. Hey? She says it seems to work in reverse for the cats, who are very calm and sleep for about 20 hours of the day. Aren't they funny? We love our cats. We notified the International Association of Elves, based in Lower Manhattan, who... Why are they based in Lower Manhattan? There you go again, Suko. telling us how more important New York is than the rest of the world. Well, it's not, dear. What is that with you Americans that you think you're more important than everyone else? Please tell me now, dear. I mean, even the phone numbers. Why have you got one? You might not know what I mean by that, do you? When we dial the US, it starts 001. Why is that? Why is it on my computer programs at home, and when I log on to different things around the world, they ask for your address, and then it has the drop-down menu of countries, and it starts off United States of America, and then it goes the A's, the B's, the C's. Why are you at the top? You're not more important ever. You're just the same as everyone else, lovey. Just the same as everyone else. Okay? That's it. Look, an International Association of Elves based in Lower Manhattan. Why do you think they're based there? They're probably not based there at all. I bet they're based in Iceland. Oh, Suko, we have a laugh, don't we? Anyway, the Association Elves promptly sent a team complete with state-of-the-art detecting equipment. We directed them towards the old chair in the corner of our living room, and sure enough, the divine rod crossed, forming an X right down the side of the chair. Now, are you sure that elves were being detected there, or had Simon Cowell arrived in his miniature form, ready to host another game of X Factor? That's the question, you see. Yes. Inside the chair was an entire elf community, complete with a school, post office, general store, bank, and a tunnel that ran from the chair to under the sofa, where the Long Island branch of the Icelandic Pixie Gold Reserve was located. Are you saying it wasn't the people of Iceland who stole all our money, but the elf community? This is a very worrying transformation. Really is. The poor little things were huddled together. Well, I'm sure they were. Great big Suko breaking into their home like that. Can you imagine it if you was a little person like that? And someone ripped apart your home, a great big face appeared, you know. They probably thought you were going to eat them. Don't eat elves. An elfish interpreter, who was a member of the detection team, was able to tell us that they had enjoyed their lives here, although they lived in fear of someday being detected, which is what you've done. Suko, you have detected them. You have broken their home, darling, and possibly their poor little halves. How do you feel? Guilty? If you was Roman Catholic, I'd send you straight down to the confessional now for confession, dear. You need to say some penance. 2 million Hail Marys. Start now. Come on your knees. We begged the authorities to remove them humanely and relocate them somewhere where they could live their lives in peace. I'm pretty sure I heard them mention Royal Berkshire. Thank you, Robert, Jasper, and you, Chris, that connects us all from Suko. Well, I'd be more than happy to put them up here in Royal Berkshire. I have the shed over there, which since the death of my beloved cat Tiny back in January has remained empty. I do have accommodation waiting for the elves. What do you think? Might be an idea. Actually, my neighbour was... I was talking to my lovely neighbour the other day. She's recently, well, I say recently, in the last couple of years, they've done all their garden up. They've got the most beautiful little water feature there. With a bird table with water in it, and it's like constantly flowing. It's like a little... like a mini little waterfall going. They're not huge gardens here. And she's done it up so nice. And this pond is a real attraction to wildlife. She's got frogs in there, little tadpoles in there, birds come and wash in the bird table, insects, and she says she watches the birds eating the insects sometimes. They sit there, and it's a real attraction. And it's only a small pond. It's a small little waterfall into a pond, and I'm surprised at the amount of wildlife that it's attracted. I'd love to have something like that in the garden here. The trouble is, I don't like DIY. I suppose I could pay. Probably something like that would be reasonably expensive, would it? I don't know. But it's very nice. But on the other hand, I do like my garden. If we get time, I'll take you around and show you how well it's doing at the moment. And this is, I mean, my hanging baskets all along the side of the. I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 6 hanging baskets along the shed this year. I've got very tall sunflowers. I've got 5 of those, which I grew from seed. The tomato plants, the peppers, the peas. I've got a couple of strawberries now as well, which incidentally have grown suckers. I've noticed on the strawberry plants, I've now got suckers coming out of them, and I'm not sure what to do. Do I just put those into pin them down in a pot somehow? Because I'm not sure about that. And that would kind of make sense why the strawberry plants were so expensive, because they were dear. They were about £4.99 for each plant. Now, am I to assume that those suckers will produce another plant? And I think what I've got to do is pin the suckers down into another pot, although I'm not sure. So if anyone can advise me on that, please let me know. Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Anyway, and my neighbour was saying it's a shame. She said that shed does take a lot of room up in the garden, and indeed it does. It's a big old shed there. And actually, I mean, I was talking about this, I think, this time last year. There's not an awful lot in there now. I've moved most of the stuff out. And I think at some point, probably, I will get someone to come in and dismantle the shed. It wasn't one that was bought in a shop. You know, this has been purpose-built for this house. But I think at some point it will be taken down, and then that whole area could be a little bit more garden. And perhaps, who knows, maybe a little water feature in there. I've got a little bit of money to spend at the moment, actually, and possibly I should spend it on something like that. There is a couple of rooms I'd like decorated as well, which haven't been done for 12, 13 years. The kitchen and the living room are the only other 2 rooms that I haven't done out now. But I don't know. I just don't like the mess everywhere. I can't stand it. Yeah, if I had a friend, I could say to them, look, right, I want this decorated and this decorated. I'm going on holiday for a week. Please deal with it. I'll pay you to do that. And I'd rather do that. I can't stand it, you know, being there while these blooming decorators are doing all their stuff. Although, you know, they're all right. I've never had a problem with decorators. I've only ever had a couple of decorators do work for me, and it's never been a problem. I just can't stand the hassle of having to move everything out of the room and oh, God. And then if you're not happy with something, you have to say something, don't you? And I find that difficult to do. I hate it. However, in the garden, you know, now that I've said it, I'm wondering how much that would cost. It's a big shed. Is it a lot of hassle to take a shed down? I don't know, really. I'd have to move out the rest of the stuff in there, but that could go in. I've got a little side shed as well. Yeah, I must do something like that. But it does take up a lot of room. And I'll tell you that. What is the size of that shed? 1.6. It's got to be about 12 foot by 8 foot, I would say. Big old shed. 12 foot by 8 foot, yeah. Okay. Onwards. Let's see. Where are we going to next? Oh, yes, flu news. Nothing much going on about the flu now. It's strange, this swine flu business. We seem to get reports now and again on the telly, and we get a lot of information on it, which goes on for a couple of days, and then the stories disappear again. It's the most odd news item that I've ever come across. It's not like ongoing. It doesn't keep coming in, and you know, like the problems in, for example, Iran at the moment. I don't know why that. Who's that? The religious leader in Iran called Britain the most evil country, and I don't know why. What have I done to him? You know, so I mean, it is a worry what's going on there at the moment, but out of my hands, I suppose, and the ordinary person, it's all down to the politicians as usual. But they're on the telly all the time. Now, this swine flu thing, it seems to make an appearance for 2 or 3 days, and you get all this information coming in about the latest numbers, and then the story disappears again for a couple of weeks. The most odd thing ever. Anyway, so I don't know about the flu and all this business. I am now washing my hands regularly, as instructed to by the. In fact, I'm usually washing my hands now every 30 seconds, just to be on the safe side. For future shows, you'll probably notice that I'll have a bowl of water and a little bottle of that hand antibiotic hand cleaner, and every 30 seconds I will be constantly washing my hands. It's the only way. At the moment, we're now up to every 5 minutes, except while I'm doing the show. Every 5 minutes, I go to the tap and wash my hands again. Am I overdoing it? That's the question. I do notice the last 4 or 5 days, I keep having sneezing fits. You know, which is a bit of a worry. On the other hand, is that the swine flu emptying my mouth and my super duper immune system throwing it out of the cupboard again? You know, it gets it, and out it goes again into the atmosphere to infect someone else. You're not supposed to sneeze in the open, are you? No. You're supposed to sneeze into a paper tissue. Yes. And let it and bin it straight away, or stick it down the toilet. Yeah. So there we are, no more flu news at the moment. The longest day, of course, that's now passed here in the UK. We've had the summer solstice already. Here we are, over halfway through the year now, and the days will start getting shorter once again. It just comes round so quickly. So quickly, doesn't it? I don't know. I mean, I like the warm weather, as you know. I hate winter, and now you kind of look forward to the summer coming, and here we are halfway through it already. Untrue. We haven't had up to this point, we haven't had as nice a summer, I don't think, as we did last year. But nevertheless, you know, it's nice when the sun comes out, as it indeed it is today, and I can sit in the garden and have a bit of a conversation with you. I do enjoy that. Seem to be a bit of a problem with big flies this year. I keep finding big flies coming into the house. You know, I don't think I've ever seen so many flies as there is this year. I'm wondering actually if that's due to the annihilation of the snail population in my garden, snail and slugs, because I do notice if you do get a load of snails, then they're surrounded by flies, but surely there's not enough meat there to keep them going for very long, is there? And I am being pestered at the moment. Not today, actually. There's not many around today, but I seem to keep getting big flies flying into the house, and then I have to usher them out again. Aren't they horrible things? I hate horrible things, flies. But I suppose they're doing something, aren't they? Like everything else in the world. It all does something. Even wasps, nasty that they are, they're doing something, aren't they? Huh? All right. Suko, another email from Suko here, who says, "Dear Chris, although the Japanese are very health conscious and know how to do things well, I question the nutritious values of vegetables grown on shelves." Now, we carried a story a couple of weeks ago about the Japanese who've come up with this idea of having big vegetable factories. And vegetables are grown literally in controlled environment on shelves in these factories, you know, with artificial lights, and there's no insects in there, so you've got no pesticides or anything like that, just vegetables growing in these factories. And that's what she's talking about here. Growing produce on shelves is not the way intended by nature. I mean, it surely isn't. It surely isn't. And neither Suko is eating processed foods like, I know, chocolate bars and stuff like that. None of it's natural, is it? It's all been made with natural ingredients, but also had other stuff added to it as well, all sorts of chemicals and things to make it last longer than that. So, you know, there is an awful lot that we eat, I think, that isn't natural. Hydroponics, Suko says, is a method of growing plants in water without soil, but they must add mineral nutrient solutions. Those minerals are natural in soil. To me, it's almost like cloning sheep or being able to choose the sex of your child. Interesting, amazing that there are people with the brilliance to figure it all out, but it just doesn't seem to be like the way it should be. If someday all food was grown this way because of fears of pesticides, contamination from poisonous insects, etc., wouldn't that destroy the natural order of things, the food chain? I know this is not likely, I'm just being theoretical, but it's kind of creepy to me. Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. It's like a lot of shampoos and all sorts of things that have got nice smell. You know, when they sell you lemon shampoo, there's no lemon in the shampoo, is there? It's chemical ingredients that make up the smell of lemon. And I know what you're saying here, it's not a natural thing. But these scientists presumably have looked at soil and found the nutrients in there. Do they extract the nutrients from the soil, or do they make it up with different other chemicals that they say are the same as soil? And if that's the case, I wonder if it's any different or not. Interesting, interesting. The thought of these farmers, and I use the term loosely, wearing gloves, surgical masks and dust-proof protective suits just strikes me as funny. It's very Japanese. They're very careful about sanitary conditions and non-contamination. It's a cultural thing. Nothing wrong with it, but I remember when my niece got her ears pierced in Tokyo, it was just like a surgical procedure. What, with the face masks and all that? Yeah, but yes, I mean, I know, Suko, but is that such a bad thing? I don't know what the infection rates are for different things in Japan. Be very interested to hear if they have any MRSA problems in their hospitals, like we do have here in the UK. Because things aren't cleaned properly, or not disinfected properly. I know exactly what you mean, and often we see programmes here in the UK of different Japanese bits and pieces, like maybe working with computers and things like that, and they've always got these surgical masks and everything that, you know, so that nothing gets contaminated. Perhaps that's the way to do things. I don't know. Your thoughts on that, please, Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I'm just looking down there because there's an alarm there about to go off, I think. Is it going to go off? Yes, it is. See, I knew that was going to happen. I'm going to just have to go around the back and turn this alarm off, otherwise it'll be annoying you, won't it? Most annoying. 1 minute. I don't know how to turn it off now. Is it off? Let's have a glass of water as well. There we are. Onwards. What else have we got here? Let me see. I've got a bit lost here. Oh, I've got lost here. Where's my other bit of paper gone? With all my notes on there. Oh yes, more cat news. Cat news. Cat and pet presents. What presents, I want you to join in on this one as well, okay? What pet presents have you bought your pets in the past? My friend Ben, who lives in Bracknell, also has a cat. And he saw this thing in one of those pet places on the, not on the Isle of Wight, where was it now? Like a pet superstore, you know, in an industrial village. And he bought his cat something that he saw on the UK's version of the was it of The Apprentice? No, Dragon's Den. Dragon's Den. He saw this thing that had been on Dragon's Den, which is basically a box made in the shape of a fire engine. And this box you put together yourself, and you put it on the floor, and the cats are supposed to play in it. And they do. He's got this box, and he's taken pictures of his little cat sitting in the fire engine. Oh dear me. I mean, cats are funny, aren't they? They're like happiest with an old cardboard box that you've bought in from the supermarket. They are. You buy them a really nice bed and all that. Where do they sleep? In the old Sainsbury's box. That's where they prefer to sleep. My mum, I think before I came along, my mum used to dress up her cat in clothes. She used to put clothes on the cat. What do you do that's unusual with your pets? Do you dress them up? Do you buy them gifts? What gifts have you bought your pets? Do let us know. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I'm just going to put my sunglasses on. It's getting a bit bright out here now. There we are. Oh, they're dirty. I can't see through those. 1 minute. What's it? It's got something on there. I don't know what that is. We clean things on a need-to-be-cleaned basis. I know, I should clean a lot more. I can't be bothered with it all. I can't be... Funny enough, I can't... Oh, it's not cleaned it at all. I don't know what's wrong with me lately. I can't be bothered with a lot of things, to be honest. Funny, isn't it? Maybe that's... Is that an age thing? I don't know. Starting to take things a bit easier. Yeah. Good. Now, oh, it's still blurry. I don't know, I've got something on the glasses there. 1 minute. I'll lick my finger and do that. That'll work, won't it? And then just give them a bit of a polish up on the end of the shirt, won't it? Can't see a thing out of these. That's it. There we are. That's better. Suka will be over here soon. She's taking me to see The Lion King with her husband Jerry and her lovely daughter. There we are. Right, onward. Now, where's my emails gone? I'm all over the place today, aren't I? There we are. Ah, yes, it comes from young Lisa. Hello, Lisa. Lisa, who recently sent me a link to what was supposed to be her YouTube singing on YouTube, and yet when I logged on there was nothing to be seen. Video not found. And she says, Chris, I'm so glad you weren't able to tell the old web address for the YouTube video I had previously shared in that email you mentioned. I decided to take it down until I can re-record on a better camcorder. I also have a new YouTube account and corresponding channel that combines both my online nicknames together. You're getting too clever, that's the trouble, Lisa. Putting all your accounts together, I find it all very complex, dear. Very, very complex. Here is what the new website link address will be for my new YouTube account. In the meantime, I decided to be a sort of talent scout and currently have featured on my channel some really good blossoming musicians I discovered on YouTube. Some are young, and I think it would be great to encourage their success. Once again, here is the new address for my YouTube channel. You might want to take this down and have a look yourself, boys and girls. Her YouTube is www.youtube.com/user/sweet... Oh... Sweet Teller, Sweetie Allah for you. Do you know that's... Lisa, that's not a good name because that's not memorable at all, my darling. Hope you don't mind me putting in my 2 pennyworth here, but you've chosen a name here which is not memorable. I'll tell you what it is. www.youtube.com/user/sweetie Allah for you. And it's SWEETEALA 4 as in number 4 and then you. Lisa, you haven't. That's not a good name, darling. People are not going to remember that. It's all very well. I mean, it may look good, but that really is not a good name. I think you're going to have to come up with something else, darling. All right. And my YouTube name, I mean, youtube.com/user/Chris Reardon UK. Do you see what I mean here? Couldn't you have Sweet Lisa USA? Something like that. People aren't going to remember that, my love. You've got to choose when you're choosing whether it's a Facebook name or something like that. You must choose a memorable name. Sometimes it's difficult. A lot of the memorable ones will be gone. But if you think, you'll come up with something. All right. Once again, her address at the moment is youtube.com/user/sweetie Allah for you. SWEETEALA number 4. As in 4 and you. Also, I don't think, Lisa, it's a good idea to mix up letters and numbers because people get confused. Although yours is a number 4, I can guarantee some people will put in the word FOUR. All right? That's only my opinion, darling. She says, if you'd like to share that poetry page of mine as well, the web address for that is www.sweet-t-sympathy.tripod.com/id16.html. Again, that's just too long, darling. It's too long, my love. People are not going to remember that. They may get it from this show once, but they just won't remember it. Yeah, I know you can save it in favourites, but a lot of people don't. I don't save everything in favourites. I mean, if you did that, you'd have pages and pages of favourites. So I think you need to get yourself a domain name or something like that, you know. SweetLisaUSA.com. See if that's available. And then what you can do is just give out just give out that address. So when people say, what's your web address? Oh, Sweet Lisa USA. That's a good one. That's memorable. Sweet Lisa USA. Or if that's gone, USA Sweet Lisa. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe you might be lucky and Lisa USA might still be there. Okay? Only trying to help you there, my darling. Thank you. Look who it is, someone we haven't heard from for a while. It's Marsha in South Florida. Hello, Marsha. And she writes, hi, Chris. Hope you're well. Been listening to the show as usual, but have fallen behind because they have stopped us from listening to streaming internet radio at work. Don't worry, I am catching up. Oh, aren't they so-and-sos, aren't they? Hey, Marsha? Dear me. I mean, you can't do anything with that big brother watching you now, can you, eh? Stopping my friends from listening to my programmes. It's a liberty, that's what it is, dear. I hope your bosses are all run over under vans on the way home. And my Lisa can listen to me again. My Marsha can listen to me once again. You asked a few shows ago about the vacations people are planning. And I'm very excited to say that I'm going to be coming to the UK on vacation in October. That's 3 of you coming this year. What is going on? Is it me? Is it me? Should I be being paid a wage? Should I be being paid a wage by the United Kingdom Tourist Board? I think I should. I think I should. We have a big family event, and I will be coming over for the first time in 3 years. Really looking forward to it. You mentioned that when you DJ at nightclubs, you play a lot of 80s and 90s soul and R&B. I hope I'm remembering that correctly, which is the kind of music I love. I hope to check out one of your venues while I'm over there. Maybe you can recommend or something. Yes, I do play 80s, 90s. I play all sorts of music. I also play a non-stop mix of music. You can get a demonstration for that if you want by going to the music part of all the stuff I do. Now you can find 1 or 2 weekly non-stop DJ mixes. Then the music's lightish, okay, it's very poppy and housey. And you can find that by going to www.chrisreardonshow.co.uk. chrisreardonshow.co.uk. Now there's no talking at all on those, it's just non-stop music right away from the beginning to the end. Varying different lengths of mixes. The ones that are sort of 1 hour 20 and below will actually fit onto a compact disc or a CD. Okay? So have a little listen to one of those. It's all free, all licensed by the performing rights music for podcast, PRS for music it's called. I've got the license for that as well, so go and help yourselves with that. You might like it, you might not, I don't know. Perhaps you'll give me an opinion. Have a listen to one of those and give me your opinion. Now, someone did write the other day and they said they tried it and they couldn't listen to it. It is a large file. So the best thing to do is click the instructions are right at the top of the page on how to listen to the music. Okay, remember it's about 1 hour and 20 minutes long. Some of them are longer than that. But choose the one that you want. It's got the track list as well. Right click on it, the bit with the date bit, which is next to direct download, underneath the track list and the video of the show. Right click on that and save as to somewhere on your computer, and then just let it do its stuff, wait till it's saved, and then you'll be able to play and listen to it, okay? The address for that, once again, is chrisreardonshow.co.uk, chrisreardonshow.co.uk. I will also be going over to Paris for a few days, so there will be lots of sightseeing planned for the 3 or 4 day visit there. Yeah, I've been to Paris a couple of times. There is a lot to see there. The Eiffel Tower. I managed to get halfway up that. I wouldn't go any further. I wouldn't. It's too scary. It's too high. But yes, some lovely parts of France. After I went to the Eiffel Tower, there was a lovely ice cream place. A little ice cream van on this square. I'm not quite sure where it was we were now, and he does these ice creams and then he dips the whole ice cream in like this melted chocolate, gives it to you, so you've got an ice cream and it's covered in a layer of chocolate. Oh, absolutely delicious, dear, delicious. You'll like Paris, it's alright, very clean. I found it very clean there. Didn't quite find the shopping centre, I don't know why. We must have been going down the wrong road or something. Marsha says, if anyone can recommend a good place in Paris to visit, to eat, or just hang out, I would love to hear about it. Yeah, well, you want to go to the Eiffel Tower. Try and go onto the French Tourist Board site. and Paris, and work out what you're going to do before you go. Otherwise, I mean, I've done this so many times before. Otherwise, you end up wandering around aimlessly and not actually finding anything because you don't know where it is. Went to the Arc de Triomphe, which is like a centre point where all these roads converge, and you can go up on top of that as well. It's quite good, Paris. Nice. Marcia says, I really enjoyed the show with Nikki French. What a lively personality she has. Oh, she's lovely. I've known her for so many years. And apparently Nikki is very big in the States. I wonder, Marcia, had you already got some of her records or CDs before you saw her on the show? She's lovely. And what I didn't tell you, she actually brought round an apple pie for us all, or a apple sponge thing, which was rather delicious, I have to say. She's got all coming in a Tupperware box. Lovely girl, lovely girl. It was great to hear someone who could just start singing and sound really good without the assistance of studio magic. Oh, she can sing. Believe me, she can sing, unlike a lot of the pop stars that you see in videos and on the television now. Oh, yes. They've all had little adjustments made to it. No adjustments on me, incidentally. I am as I seem. No technical magic or anything. I just naturally am really good looking and young. And on that note, I shall leave you today. Send us in an email. It's Chris@United... Oh, I didn't have time to show you around the garden. Never mind, we'll do it on another show. Chris@UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. Chris@UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. Thanks for watching and listening. See you on the next show. Bye-bye.